So just to talk about them in a little bit more detail. So Vuforia Studio, as I said, it's around very quickly and efficiently building AR experiences to help with things like operator understanding and safety, look at reducing assembly and training times, really just make everyone more efficient when they're dealing with that information. Okay, so the idea is that, just to show here how we do it. So the idea is that it's designed to use existing CAD data assets that you would have. Okay, so we can take our CAD data. Can be Creo, it doesn't have to be though. Obviously Creo is PTC's CAD tool, but it can read in CAD data from multiple systems. Okay, there are tools to build animations in the Creo suite. So we could build those sort of sequence animations, service instruction animations to show what to do. If you just want to show the model, you don't need to do that. But we can take that CAD data and bring that into the studio editing environment. And there's tools in there to optimize that data, because CAD data can be really, really big and really heavy, right? You don't want to be trying to download, an 800 meg file, CAD file to view it in AR over your 4G connection, okay? So there's tools in there to help optimize that. And we can also reuse existing information, video, sound, pictures, images, those sorts of things as well, okay? So we bring that into the authoring environment, and the idea is it's really designed to be really rapid authoring environment to quickly author AR experience using predefined widgets. The other thing is that we can also connect into IoT. So as Paul mentioned earlier, ThingWorx is PTC's industrial IoT platform. So Vuforia Studio is built connected to ThingWorx. So if you are looking at viewing IoT data in those AR experiences, if you've got your devices connected to ThingWorx, it's literally just a bit of drag and drop to start bringing those IoT readings and have them live updating in your AR experiences, okay? And then there's a whole bunch of Vuforia's technology around computer vision, seeing the world around it, including model targets, which we'll see in the video, okay? So once we've authored those experiences, we can publish them out to an experience server, okay? So for most of our customers, they're doing that as a cloud hosted by PTC option. Basically, that means they don't have to worry about it. It's providing the infrastructure, upgrades, all that sort of security stuff, everything else. That's handled by PTC. There is the option of on-premise as well for those customers in the defense industry, for example. So there's options there. And then that's published. And then the idea is that users can view that using the free Vuforia View app. Okay, so it's a free app that they download, and they can launch the experience and view that information. All right, so just to show quickly sort of what that looks like. So here's a little video just showing the authoring process. It's been sped up, okay? But you can see we bring in a CAD model that we've got. We can run some optimizations in there. So we've got our little production line that you saw in the earlier video. We can define that as a model target. So we're actually going to use the physical object as our target to place the AR in the real world relative to that. We might have animations in there that we can bring in and bind to that. We're bringing in a gauge now to display data, and we can connect into ThingWorx and bind that information from our IoT device into our AR experience. And we can capture some other information here, some additional models you can see for our safety example, okay? So that's the idea of studio authoring, right, is to very quickly author those experiences. And once we've done that, then we can view them in the View app. So here you can see we're looking for the model target again. So we're trying to find and align to that model, which we've done. There's a little bit of extra stuff in there that wasn't shown in the editing, obviously, but you can see here we've got showing that IoT data that's coming from this machine. We can see our safety model that you saw them pop in there right at the end in the editing side of things. Okay, so very great way to understand, where are the danger zones within this piece of equipment. And then we can look at better understanding that. So we need to do a service. So here are all the different parts. So again, we're overlaying the CAD model on top of the real world object to help better understand this in context. Much, much better than looking at a picture in a manual, okay? So once we've done that, we've now got some animations here. We're incorporating some images for explanation, right? So now we've got the animation steps to say, okay, well, what we need to do is remove this piece and slide this out. And then we can continue on with our instructions, okay? So that's a little bit of a look at the idea of how you might author something and then view that inside the View app using Vuforia Studio. Okay. All right. So examples of Vuforia Studio. There have been some great examples of this from around the world. Volvo is a big PTC customer. They are looking at they've built some stuff around their engine plant. Okay, so they have lots and lots of engines, lots of different configurations for those engines. Again, it's that whole thing about complexity based on customer demands. So when you have to inspect that, obviously there's a big complex paper-based process. So they've used Vuforia Studio to create some immersive experiences they run on Microsoft HoloLens. They actually combine that with IoT information that they're getting from ThingWorx to essentially provide a live feed or an updated information based on the configuration they're looking at, what things they need to inspect as they're running through that. Okay, and the outcomes from that, they're looking at a 60% reduction in training time. They're saving thousands of euros per station per year, and one of the things that they highlighted was around, a recruitment advantage. Manufacturing is very much seen as, sort of stale, dirty work that people don't really want to get into. This is really showing that manufacturing is leading technology being used on a day-to-day basis. So another example, AGCO out of the US, again, another big PTC customer. So they have some of their farming equipment, very complex bit of equipment. So they would get all of their service techs in from all their vendors in for 5 days training on this piece of equipment, how to set it up and maintain it. Okay, 10 classes a year with 15 students. So that was a very inefficient process. It was like, 200-page PowerPoint slide with lots of photos of the device and how to work through that. So they took their CAD data that they already had, built an immersive step-by-step training and installation instruction using the CAD models they had. They cut their training time in half and reduced the installation time by 60%. And their distributors are asking now for all of their products to be done in that way because it's so much better from their side as well. Okay. Closer to home, something that was done just recently, RMIT is using AR for training. So in their graduate certificate for transport safety investigation that they've jointly developed with the ATSB, they have, you can't just have a crash site there to wander around and inspect as you're looking for sort of a site safety review. So they've got some AR examples to help reinforce that learning in an immersive environment, using a tablet to be able to walk around a crash site and look at identifying the hazards that are there and get information about them.